There's this really dumb notion that Donald Trump is the one that got people to hate the media, as if he is the grandmaster of reality, capable of puppeteering and shaping the way people think. Obviously, that's not the case. People used to hate the media way before Donald Trump. In fact, there's this very old saying that if you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed, but if you do read the newspaper, then you're misinformed. And if I'm not mistaken, Mark Twain said it. So people always had a little bone to pick with the mainstream media. And it's kind of understandable. I mean, if you look at the French Revolution, there were a lot of newspapers that encouraged the revolution. So they encouraged all the violence and all of that. And even recently, I mean, during the BLM protests, there were people who had their businesses being burned down, and they weren't allowed to leave their homes because it was a quarantine, and the mainstream media encouraged that. So you kind of get why a lot of people don't have sympathy for the media. In fact, like the BLM protests themselves, they protested at CNN headquarters. So it's not like the BLM have that much of love for the media. It was kind of funny when the protesters were burning down the city. There was no police to be found, but the moment they were at CNN headquarters, there was a police presence. Isn't that interesting? And there's many reasons for why people dislike the media. The primordial one that I know of is that they're called vultures. I mean, think about it. If there's a burning building, there's usually people that are rushing in, trying to save everyone. You have the fire department, you have the ambulance, like all of these people are doing their best in order to save everyone, and then you have like a guy sitting there with a camera, and that's the media, so that they can put it on the 7 o'clock news and put ads on it, right? So they monetize tragedy. They really do it, especially when in my country there's entire channels that we call the bedsheet and the morgue, because all they do is they talk about murders and rapes and the crimes, and they make money off of it. I mean, they make money off of sensationalism, so that's something that people don't like. And especially recently, the mainstream media is trying to take the role of the church. Like, they're telling you how it's acceptable to behave in a society. They dictate what is and what isn't politically correct. CNN has even blackmailed the person who made the meme at their expense. I mean, there's just so many reasons, and it's interesting to finally see a poll when people are asked, it's like, do you agree or disagree with the statement? The media are truly the enemy of the people. So it's not even like, do people hate the media? No, it's like, do you think they're the enemy of the people, right? So exactly the way that Trump said it. And the poll is actually shocking. Like, I didn't expect to see these numbers. I think like the numbers would have been different before the pandemic. But now it's even worse. I mean, it's very difficult when the television tells you stay home, stay safe, because else you're killing grandma, and the next day say go out, go protest, right? BLM, and then after the protest, it's like go back home, stay safe. You know, it's like all these conflicting messages. I don't think people have that short of a term of a memory. Like they do remember, and they don't like what they're seeing. So apparently 56% of the men agree. 58% of the women. Now, this is like jaw-dropping to me simply because women are more agreeable than men on average. So I expected that more men would agree than women. But no. So either the poll is wrong or this is just very surprising. And then you see that more young people distrust the media. And it kind of makes sense because social media debunks a lot of the media stories. Like, social media allows people to talk with each other, to share information, to add context. So it doesn't surprise me. Most of the older generation, though, has a 49% disapproval rating. But even then, like 49%, that's a lot. Right? More black people than white distrust the media. This isn't surprising, especially in the United States. But what's interesting is that the Democrats are the ones that trust the media the most. It's still a high number, by the way, but 37% of the Democrats. Now, take into account the way the question is formed. It's like, do you believe that the media is the enemy of the people? So first of all, like, this is attributed to Donald Trump, which is kind of normal that Democrats will not agree with what a Republican president has said. And it's also the fact that maybe some of them distrust the media, but they don't think it's the enemy of the people. So I do understand why the number of Democrats is at 37%. Now, with that out of the way, I have noticed that despite the fact that the credibility in the media is at an all-time low, and there are people who say that they know the media lies to them, the moment the media tells them something, they automatically believe it. The moment the media tells them to jump, they're already in the air. They don't even ask how high. They're jumping at their best. And this is something very bizarre. And I noticed it at an individual scale as well. Like, for example, there will be people who will read a news article about gaming. And it's just complete nonsense. And they will say, all right, well, this media publication is lying to me. Like, perfect example, when Vox made a video on how to build a computer. And it was a miracle that that computer even turned on. I mean, the video itself was abysmal. And everyone says, okay, like, Vox is full of shit. Like, they don't even know how to build a computer. Like, I can go on YouTube and watch, like, some random people build a computer just fine. But Vox, the corporation, doesn't know how to? Like, what is this nonsense? But the next time Vox publishes an article, they believe it. Like, they throw all the skepticism at the door, even though, like, they've been lied to previously. Even though they know that it's not only that they were lied to, but, like, the job that they did building a computer was abysmal. So, despite all that, the next time Vox releases an article, they 100% believe it. I don't know how these people think. Honestly, it's just bizarre. But what can you do, you know? And these are the same people that are like, oh, I never trust the media. The media is evil. And then the media says, there's not going to be inflation. And they're like, okay, well, there's not going to be any inflation because the television told me to. And then there is inflation. And they're like, oh, well, there is inflation, but it's not so bad because the TV told me to. And by the way, I don't trust the media. It's so bizarre. And by the way, you shouldn't trust anyone. Like, you should learn how to filter information through your own head. You should read multiple news sources from the left and the right and use your own head to filter that. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. The same way when you want to buy a car, you're not going to trust the car salesman, even though he's an expert. You're not going to trust the car salesman. No, you're going to do some research on the internet. You're going to read a lot of pages about cars. Maybe you're even going to talk with a mechanic or two, right? Because it's a big investment. Same when you buy a house. You're filtering this information through your head, even though there are many people that try to manipulate you and give you misinformation, right? The salesman of the house might give you a bigger price. They might misinform you about the fact that the house didn't have a murder in it. But it's your job to get yourself informed and talk with other people, find other sources in order to make an intelligent purchase. But for some reason, when it's about the news nowadays, that's not the case. There's just like the truth and misinformation, and the truth can only be found by the corporate media. No one else is capable of finding the truth except the corporate media and the fact checkers. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. And don't forget to tune in to This Week in Stupid. It's going to be awesome. See you guys there.